We're going to start us off with Assault at the Satellite Array. Or not Assault, rather Scramble. We were just talking about Assault, that's why it's stuck in my head. We're playing Scramble. It's going to be Empire versus Republic. Michael, do you have a preference of which list you'd like to talk about? And I'll start the betting in the meantime.
Yeah, sure. I'll take over with the Republic.
Do it.
Yeah, so we've got 3 at least, so like the standard. I don't want to call it like a meta monster now, but it's what everybody or a whole lot of people are flying after it won LSO, which I happen to be at. So maybe I should have done better, and not as many people would be playing it. But yeah, so usually we're seeing 3 arcs a lot now, but this one is 2 arcs, 2 of the Siege of Coruscant arcs, which he elected for Oddball and Wolf. So Oddball, after you do a red maneuver or red action, you can give, usually it ends up being yourself, but sometimes a friendly, essentially a lock on a ship. So it really helps open up his like barrel. And then Wolf gets a little, you can spend a charge to get a reroll out the front, and then gain it back to get a reroll out the back. Both of them equipped with Veteran Tail Gunner, so it's just lots of health, throwing good single or double modded dice. Can't really beat it for 4 points right now.
You really can't. It's pretty good.
And then Anakin, SOC, and the Ada, just also really good 4 points. It's it's not as good as any of the custom Anakins, but it's an I6 force carrier for 4 points. Like there's nothing
with access to an evade and a good dial, right?
Yeah, it's good. And then Kickback, SOC, who gets a little more red dice than you normally see with Diamond Boron missiles. So is he 3? Yeah,
he is.
And so the main purpose for that, I think, or it usually is to get an evade in the mix with Born for this. So one of the, I don't even know if you would call it a weakness, but one of the things with the Born for this with triple arcs is that you can pass the focus for defense, but it doesn't. There's not really an evade with a Born for this carrier. And with Kickback, that kind of solves that. I don't even know if you would call it an issue, but it's certainly nice to have.
Yeah.
Then he's kitted out with Slider, 2 points. So there are 2 Z95 choices, which are Slider. He can do sloops, or not sloops.
He can do side slips. Yeah. He's a slidey boy.
The other option, which I've been liking a lot, is Boost. But he went with Slider. It's certainly very good in objective play to be able to really open up where you can kind of be. And then lastly, adding just to the health, he's bringing Broadside.
Just when I thought you were done, you got more.
More.
But wait, there's more. We've got Broadside, the special TV offer. Call now and you get an extra Y-Wing in this list.
So overall, it's what, 8, 12...
Yeah, count up the health for me real quick.
9, 21, 31, 37, and then Anakin is 40. So mostly on 1 agility, a couple of them on 2. Right. And then Anakin, not the same equation because those 3 health are much more well guarded. But
right,
it's a lot. It's a lot on the board, a lot to chew through.
It is. It's a challenge for sure. Thank you. Hey Nick, congrats on your victories at Gen Con. Yeah, I'll definitely talk about Gen Con. Thank you. I can't believe I made top 4, but I just fate was on my side that day. It seems I was just no problem. I mean, it's just difficult to even put into words, to be honest. I have not ever performed that well. I think it validates the way I am. I think it tells myself, hey, I might be a pretty good player just because you don't just luck into winning 6 games and not losing a game in Swiss after 2 days. But we'll definitely talk about that. Speaking of Empire, I'll do Steven's list super quick. This is the list where it's like, hey, congrats, you get all of this Inferno Squadron cardboard. What are you going to do with it? And Steven says, I'm going to build a list that can use it all. So he did that. He's got Volt Scarus with sensitive controls, shield upgrade, and marksmanship. Volt's really interesting because he starts with a charge up. His ability allows him to take an additional action, a delayed action. I believe it's before he activates or engages. Let me double check the wording because he's not used. He's used more often now, but not before. So it's an action to gain a strain to recover the decurring charge that every turn goes down, gets unspent or whatever you want to call it. Like you have to then recover it again, but before you engage you can spend that charge to perform an action. So you get a delayed action, which can be good. You can even use it in the first turn if you want to, because it starts with the active side up, so you can spend that charge. We'll see if Steven decides to do that. And then he's got Iden Versio. I'm actually gonna pull up the overlay so it's bigger on my screen. Here we go. Iden Versio with Thread Tracers and Elusive. Gideon Hask with shield upgrade, marksmanship, and predator, so he has the opportunity to roll that extra die if he's shooting at a ship that is damaged, that has a damage card, at least one. We've got Del Miko with Ion Cannon Elusive. And then here's the interesting thing with Saint Marana and Gideon. Saint Marana's ability, you can spend a crit to cancel all dice results and inflict a face down damage card under the shields to a ship. Pairs really well with Gideon, right? Because if they're damaged, you get an extra die. So hopefully marksmanship can line up a bullseye, more likely with medium bases. Jamming beam and shield upgrade, as I had mentioned. And then we got, rounding out the list, we've got our fun little Guri impersonator, Lieutenant Larir, likes to do those bendy barrel rolls. Has to, actually. Also with sensitive controls, as it is standardized, targeting computer, and Lone Wolf. So probably going to be on the flank a little bit. Did we get a DC? Did I miss that? I thought somebody disconnected. Yes. Oh no, I think we lost Michael. You still there, Michael? Are you with me? He'll be back. He knows how to get back here. Yeah, Volt is so Volt has been the ship of choice to fill in the 4-point slot for Empire players. I am not convinced by it, but you have to put shield upgrade on him just to feel like, you know, to justify he's only got the 4-hole. He can go down pretty easily. He's I5 though. He's an interceptor. I mean, there's tons of value with just his stat line alone. We'll talk about Empire a little bit. Betting is open, just a reminder, as the players will be getting going here shortly. The dials are being set, so we will be underway in a moment. A couple of housekeeping things, though, really quick for you guys. First thing, Gen Con was a huge success. We had a ton of fun. I was the only Empire player that made day 2, which is just blows my mind. There was plenty of people playing Empire, but I think that might be proof and that multiple bombers is not the most optimal in the meta right now. It is certainly efficient in terms of attack dice and damage output potential, but it's not necessarily the best. And made top 4, won a ton of prizes. I felt like every person I played, I knew every person I played. They all had Worlds invites. It was like a boss fight after boss fight after boss fight after boss fight, ending up with Ryan Farmer at the end. We'll talk more about Gen Con later. I don't want to talk about myself too much. But the big thing was that our interview with AMG happened. We live streamed it, and now it's on YouTube. So type !AMG if you want to watch the full interview posted on our YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. I thought it was very productive, very insightful, and just a good time. So I definitely recommend you guys go and check that out. Again, type AMG in the chat. For those of you that have won giveaways, I'll be sending those giveaways out within a week. Thank you for being patient. Really appreciate it. Just been super busy. And a bunch of updates on more in-person events that we will be covering, including potential for Crossroads Classic. So I will have you more updates for you guys very soon. You're allowed to talk about yourself. Yeah, I just don't want to be that guy. Like, I don't know. I mean, as Drax says, I too am extraordinarily humble. Yeah, well, I will talk about it because I do want to kind of give my perspective on things and what I saw in my experience in the list that I played. If you guys are interested in playing Empire, I definitely recommend a flavor of the list that I played. In fact, I think it's proven enough just based on the matchups that I had that it was tested. It was really Nick Drax cosplay win very soon. I'm working on it. It stood up. It was tested, but it stood up to the things that I was, concerned about. I was like, you know what, Gen Con is the place where I'm really going to be tested on, sure, it won a store champ, but how can it do on a bigger scale? I think are you back? He's back.
I am. I don't know what happened. My computer just kind of shut off, so I'm rebooting it now, but I'm on my phone.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, there's no rush. They haven't even started yet. So I'm just going to let them know that we're ready, though. Yeah, so for those of you guys that missed it, I played The Boys, which is a Mauler Mythal standardized and Backstabber standardized. Mauler's 3, Backstabber's 4. Mauler has Predator and Afterburners. Backstabber has Crackshot, Afterburners, and Discipline. That's why he's 4 points. They're both I5. And then we had Vader, Core Set Vader, the newer Vader. That is only 6 points. That has basically everything that the 7-point Vader could ever dream of having. He's got Afterburners, Hate, and Ion missiles. He's got a shield upgrade built in as well. So he's got 6 hit points, 3 shields, 3 hull. As we see Volt do a little pre-positioned sensitive controls barrel roll up to the top of the board. And we saw one from Larir as well. And then we had Tomax Bren, just 1 bomber, the 3-pointer I5 with barrage rockets, with saturation salvo and bomblet generator. He's very flexible. He's a great utility piece for whatever you need him to do. And then rounding out the list, pick your 4-pointer. I went with Merrick Steele. Merrick, why did I go with Merrick? Because Merrick's fun, and he's always been one of my favorite pilots ever since I started playing this game. So it was a little bit of a selfish decision, but he is I5, and he has a very good ability if you can get it off. He had shield upgrade and fire control system. People are like, why not Afterburners? Well, having fire control and shield upgrade just felt like better value. I gotta be honest. Being ultra aggressive and boosting in to get shot at 5 times sounds like a good time, but I didn't, he was also a flexible piece in my list. If he wasn't playing the objective, purely just playing the objective, I usually just threw him at somebody I needed to kill. It was usually like an arc, like Oddball, Jag, or Wolf. Preferably one of the lower initiative ones because he can get the last shot in. If I shoot at the same ship 4 or 5 times, I usually one round an arc 170 and initiative kill it, which makes dealing with those 3 arc lists a lot easier. And he tends to live about 60-ish, 65% of the games that I play. He doesn't always die, but he is a good trade piece. He's only 4 points. Yeah, and why not Juno? So because Juno, I feel like Juno's ability can be very valuable, but also a bit of a trap. She has less loadout, and she doesn't have as good of ability otherwise compared to Merrick. However, if you are considering a 4-pointer, just pick an X1. I think that's the right call because of the crit generation, which is great for salvage and a great deterrence against 1 agility, medium and large bases that we're dealing with right now, aka just like Arc 170s and Han.
Yeah, when she first came out, I played a lot of Juno, and it's certainly good, but a lot of the times you're not. I don't know. A stressed X1 is not very good. You're always just stressing yourself.
Yeah, and it's easy to. I think people might forget that. Yeah, it's a red action, right? It's a red boost. So in that dial, that you can't do the 1 straight, and yeah, and you don't have 1 hards at all. So it's just, I think it's like the Braylon Strom issue where it's like, great, you're doing what you want to do until you realize that you need to turn around. Yeah, and so the matchup, so I was fortunate enough to this never happens, but I got the buy the first round. It was just, someone had to get it because we had 21 people. We got a Q7 trigger here. I guess so. He's going to barrel roll onto a gas cloud because he can. Yeah. Anyways, I just never see that, so it's a little shocking. To continue, so they got to buy the first round, and then I played 4 really good players back to back to back. Obviously, as you keep winning Swiss, you play more difficult matchups. Eric Rasmussen was the first person I played. He won a store champ I was at recently. Good guy. He was playing Paul Heaver's list. He had Padme with Pro Tour's passive, the 3 arcs, and Anakin. That's the list that won Gen Con as well. Tippett was playing. We were playing Scramble, and the 4 I5s and the 1 I6 in my list just really helped because I was really forcing the issue with taking those points. And then I was able to kill 2 of his arcs, which was enough. And Padme was just too far out of the fight for too long to do too much. And that was the deciding factor in that game. I think I won by like 5 or 6 points. And then after that, I played against Marcel. Marcel and I, you know, we live in the same city. We know each other pretty well. We're buddies. Marcel is one of the greatest players in the world. He's got the pedigree. He's got the accomplishments. He's just really good. I've been lucky enough to beat him a few times recently. Especially like I had a game at a store champ where he was playing a list it wasn't really for, you know, his forte, and I was able to beat him up a little bit. But then the next game, the one I won a store champ, we tied and road rolled. So I got lucky there and was able to win the road roll. But we played Chance, which he was playing his Republic list. He just won a store champ with. I was checking for shots here, got nothing so far. And it was I was able to one round his oddball. And I traded 1 damage the entire round for killing oddball. So at that point, the game was fairly decided. He clawed back a little bit because it's Marcel and it's Chance. You know, I don't know about you, Michael, but whenever I play Chance, you can never really feel like you've guaranteed the win. Just most of my games I play, you know, it always feels close, even though it might not actually be close. Yeah. Right. And so Chance is an interesting one. Half points obviously is a thing in it too. To beat him, and then round 4, I played against Diyun, who D and I have never played against each other. We're big fans of each other. We always like mess around, but we never had the chance to play. He offered an intentional draw, but at that point we hadn't won enough games to make it worthwhile. So we're like, would actually, you know, we got to play. Like, we did the math. He brought Chopper, Han, Luke, and Sabine, which is hilarious and also like kind of deadly. And I gotta be honest, that game, I think I really lucked out because his Chopper rolled, like, I want to say almost 70% of his rolls were blanks, and he had Saw Gerrera. So his Chopper was just neutered the whole game with some bad variants. We played Salvage, and I beat him 21-20, which was a crazy game. So that was the game that decided, like, cool, you play day 2. I felt great. And then my last boss fight was Ryan Farmer. So back to back, fly better, boys. Yeah, Roll Better says I played Rathos, which is a joke because DU decided to create his Roll Better account and call it Rathos, which is just so silly. Farmer brought Han, double tap Han, Fenrau, Kyo, and Luke. Fenrau killed Tomax immediately, but then I was able to, I one-rounded Kyo in the first engage because I got Merrick and Vader at range 1. Which was super deadly. And then I blocked Han a couple times so that he couldn't get good shots. And then it just came down, we were playing Chance, and it just came down to once Luke died and Fen died, I had 2 ships left, he had Han left, and he was running the other way and losing on, you know, I had basically gotten to 20 points at that point. So we ended it. And that was my 5-0 adventure. Then the next day, because I went undefeated, I only had to win 1 of 2 games of Swiss, the extended Swiss. I won the first game against 3 Arcs, 2 Torrents. It was Axe with barrage rockets, standardized Siege of Coruscant, which I haven't seen before, which is pretty good. Kickback and Slide, and Slider. So it was another 6-ship list. Was able to kill 2 Arcs. I feel like if you can kill 2 Arc 170s, just high initiative is your friend these days, guys. And I feel like that was really what helped me the most, was that I had healthy 3 agility, except for Tomax, high initiative ships that were able to play any scenario and kind of compensate for the fact that, sure, I don't have as much health, but I have the agility behind me and I have the cheapness behind me. Unless it's Vader, everything's so cheap, it's okay if you lose something. Yeah, I had to kill Kyo. Kyo had Juke, which I just thought was kind of cute, but would be a nuisance later on in Ryan's list. So I just went all. I took Merrick and threw him at Kyo, and it worked out. So, but yeah, and then I played Zach Bard, who's playing a dope Rebel list in top 4. He didn't have Han, which I thought was super cool. Looks like we got another little reposition here in the system phase as we get ready for round 2. I'll update our overlay. He had Fenrau, Hera in the A-Wing, Luke, Sabine, and Boudica. So 2 Fangs in that list, which is dope. It was a solid list. I tried a version of that list. I just don't have the patience to play Rebels right now because they just don't have all the blessings that like Republic and Empire do. But he beat me. We played Chance. I lined up a good first engage against Luke. I ionized him with Vader's ion missile. Everything was looking decent, except that Vader just exploded. He just blanked out multiple times on a couple of pot shots and died. So that was what decided the game early on. I was like, you know what? I'm happy to be here. I got the templates. I made top 4. That's cool. And then, yeah, he ended up losing to Tyler. Sorry to mansplain for so long, guys, but that's it. And let me know if you have questions.
No, it seems like a hell of a run.
Yeah, thanks. I was none of it felt fluky too, which is like, you know, sometimes you're like, am I good or am I just super lucky? Is this a fluke? And you know, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm a really good player, but it was nice because I just felt like I really got tested and kind of rose to the challenge and had a lot of fun and you know, I didn't feel like, even though I'm a competitor, it didn't feel like, you know, anybody was too on edge. We were all having a good time, especially with how tiny the Swiss days were, man. I mean, each day was like 20 to 28, 30 people, really small compared to last year.
Yeah. So there were 3 Swiss days that
3 heats. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I guess Thursday was the most. I think Friday might have been the busiest. It was weird. It was I think they should only do 2 days of Swiss, but you know, it's in terms of the math, it worked out. Everybody, you know, like there wasn't anybody that miscut because of it or anything. It just, you know, I think Gen Con's expensive and it's hard to get to for a lot of people. So I think that was really just the main factor. It's not like, I don't think it's an indictment on where the game is by any means. I think some people are trying to argue that for some reason.
What was the total attendance? Like 60 something?
The total attendance, yeah, I think it was just under 80 across the 3 days. It was in the 70s. Yeah.
It's not bad.
Oh, it's not terrible. I think over 2 days of Swiss, that number looks better. 3, it's like, you know, it's just too many days.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Jumeau is eating gas clouds like there's no tomorrow. He's munching on them clouds. So we had a Q7 onto the gas cloud and then staying stressed with oddball last turn, and then looks like broadside just kind of sits right on top of it for some reason. Has Mark Sable closure. Or no, sorry, not that. Tearfon belly run is what I was meant to say. I don't know.
Tearfon belly run, definitely the most underutilized ability in the game, I think.
Yeah, the way you said that, underutilized, as if it has potential to be utilized for a purpose. Like it's just, I'm still trying to figure it out. Like
I've used it once back like a year ago with like Luke, Wedge, Fenrau, and Dutch, and I got like a proton torp off by landing on the rock and then like hitting a rock at I6.
Yeah, I guess it's always like, you always worry like if you take 2 damage from the rock and then you get shot at once, you could just die. So it's like it's so situational. Like, are you healthy enough, or can you afford to do this right now? It's even nastier if they have like elusive or some defensive ability where they can like modify their own defense dice, like re-rolling them rather. Gen Con is a single point a day. We'll need to see more big tourneys to make any true observations on it. I agree. I think Nova will help.
Yeah, it's coming up, right? Like September.
Yeah, Nova's really soon. I believe I will be helping Dion run his stream at Pastimes. He's doing a store champ there, and that's going to be in a couple of weeks. So you might see my face pop up on GSP. Got to finalize some details on that. And then yeah, we'll be doing Dragonfall, which is the 7th and 8th of October. Should be getting those announcements out soon. Just had to follow up with Francois about that. And then, yeah, Nova. I have to double check on Nova because that's like the big one. The ones I'm talking about are smaller scale, although Crossroads, I expect a decent turnout.
Yeah, it's certainly a busy season. As far as all the events and store champs.
Isn't that great though? We've been waiting so long for this.
Yeah. So I'm in Atlanta now, and we've had. Oh, I don't even know. So I moved here in late May. Since then, I've been to 4 store champs within like a couple hour drive, and then LSO, which I actually missed out on another one that was within a couple hours from here, because I flew out to Dallas for that, and there are more like on the way. So the next few months, it's certainly
committed, man.
The store champ model that like they've put out.
Yeah, it's solid. Have you won a store champ yet of the 4 that you played at?
No, I haven't come close really.
Still time. Yeah, I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if you don't. Like, you're a guy that like you'll have a Worlds invite at some point. There's gonna be plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, that's I've played in, I think it was 7 like in-person tournaments, which were like 2 last summer and then 5 this summer, because almost like all my experiences on TTS. But every single one of them, I've won the first 2 games and lost out. So I don't know, it's just like a stamina thing, or like if I.
It gets harder, right? Like the more you win, the harder it gets too. So it is difficult. So that first shot from Anakin downtown, just plenty of evades. This Volt rolls 3 natural. Next up, we will check for Volt. Did they add the strain? It doesn't look like it.
Ability.
I typed in the chat. I was trying to be discreet, being like, broadside needs a strain, and then they didn't do it. So I put it out there myself.
Nice. Oh, you were talking about the owl.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
This had to have been. This is into one of the arcs, I believe. It is. Yeah. So we got 3 that go through because he stayed stressed.
Should have odd. He'll be shooting.
Yeah, he's shooting at oddball, so no selfless shenanigans. Unless it's at the the Z. It's not at the Z because oddball took 2 shields.
I'll follow over there.
Or I apologize. I said oddball. I think I'm referring to Wolf here. It is Wolf that is red. So yeah, definitely can't oddball because he had his oddball kind of out of position. Oh, he shared a token. Okay. Yeah, it's nice to be back with the TTS streaming, but also like welcome back to people forgetting everything, and it's just the way it is. Policing it can be so hard. Like it's just so tiring. I'm like, obviously I'm not like whatever about it, but it does get to a certain point where if it happens enough times, I'm just like, let them figure it out. Let's just test them a little bit. Let's give them a little quiz.
Yeah.
So we're checking now with oddball here. He's gonna shoot at Volt, range 3, obstructed.
So that's probably the right call here. Everybody else is range 3,
and they're all with focuses and 3 agility. Yeah.
So you go for the one without a focus.
Well, there you go. You can spend. Oh no, I'm just gonna keep it at 2. It's.
Oh no, there's just left out.
Ends up not mattering. Would have gotten a shield down if he had spent the focus, but worried about the onslaught coming in his way. Next up, we got, looks like it might be range 1 there. It is. Ooh, that's close. Is it range 1? Yes. Hit crit. This isn't a Laurier who has the focus. Laurier got 2 evades. Bless Steven for not bringing Vader to the Bombers. Yeah, you don't want to be a sellout like me. The name of the list on Roll Better is called Nick Sperry Sellout. So it is me embracing it for sure, especially with quote unquote pay to win Vader is what people are calling it. It's not my fault. That's what it's like, I'm just embracing what they're giving me at this point. This is the game we're playing, right?
Yeah. I do have to say I have not seen Hayden yet since she went back up to 4.
This is still the yeah, we're still on round 2 right now. Okay. Just one. But it hits. And this is the thread tracer shot, as it now everybody's going to get target locks. That's in range. So time to take some locks. Yeah, you can always, you guys are, you can always reach out to me. I appreciate you asking. Yeah, you can, if you have questions about live streaming. I will say we don't cheap out on our live streaming, but it doesn't mean that you should spend a lot of money to do it. You can still have an effective stream without spending a ton of money. But if you're talking about an in-person rig, it's been several years of us building up the rig that we have now. Oh yeah, Laurier's gonna grab one. So we're just kind of casually dropping the locks here from the tracers. I think all but one will get it. We'll get that lock out there.
Oh yeah, that is in range because oddball shot him. So I think the only one out is
Dell, right? Looks like.
Yeah.
None of his ships have lock actions. Yeah, he's grabbing it manually. No worries. I'm here for some chill melodic X-Wing. We got Michael here to shoot the shit. Michael Chevalau.
At the first points at 2.5, for a second I was running the most like high risk, high reward with the 3.x1s, and then the I don't even remember, the one named one had thread tracers. Ugh. And then I just focused with everybody else, so it was pretty much all dependent on if the thread tracer shot.
Mr. Foslo, right? Was it Foslo, or one of them was banned? Was it Foslo? I thought it was.
No, it's the one. What's the ability?
You can spend a lock to flip a card, isn't that it?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't Ved Foslo, because that's the change your dial. That one's banned. So it was. It doesn't start with a V though. Help me, guys. Who is the other I3?
Ved is all. Isn't Ved like I4 or 5?
Yeah, Ved is higher initiative. I just got them confused. Oh, it's Zyrtic. That's right, Zyrtic. Gotta just think of allergies. Just have a Zyrtic.
Yeah.
Double crits. Here we go. The shields start to come through. So shield down on the 4 shielded oddball. He's got that built-in shield upgrade. You had a decent stream without commentary or overlay with just my phone over the board and an external battery. Crispy did that, which I really appreciate him doing at Gen Con, so y'all could watch something, right? That's kind of nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just paint city here for Steven right now. Another opportunity to maybe get a token peeled off of Laurier.
Yeah.
So this is Wolf. Wolf has a reroll available. Is it going to be something he wants to use here? No, if he rolls natties, he doesn't need to use it. So maybe a chance to sneak into damage here. Will. And more natural evade. Steven is taking a damage card onto Lieutenant Laurier. I did make a cameo. Yeah, I got my face in, I got my nostrils in the camera lens practically. That was fun. Crispy and I, we shared a bond, you know, we were the underdogs in that top 4, I think, for especially his list. Huge props, like only Crispy, man. He was playing Hollow, Von Reg, Wilo, and Whirlwind, or no, Wrath. So 2 Whispers and 2 BAs. Easy, you know, like they could pop, but lots of jamming because they had mag pulses on the BAs. Pretty solid. So we got a couple more shields down on to Oddball, as Laurier will take a range 2 obstructed shot here. And did we see Volt must have claimed the center? Looks like Steven did claim that point and the top as well. Crispy was the underdog in that. He almost beat Tyler too. He barely lost to him. He dialed the wrong direction.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
Yeah. That is always a rough way to have a game be decided, for sure. Been there before. So I'm part of a casual online Aussie league. First oh god, I lost it. Where is it? Here we go. First 3 games, all Empire and all had Tracers. Some Aussie meta shaping up, or a coincidence? Are they still good? Tracers have always been good, yeah. I think people just have other ways to double mod their shots now. It's just like they don't need a designated Tracer carrier because that ship isn't doing damage that round. It's good on TIE fighters though, it's when they're so cheap. But Iden at 4, I'd rather take an I5 that's for that 4 points. But she's got her value in this list for sure. Yeah, you do need the Tracer to roll all paint. That's why you shoot it at 1, 2, or fewer agility ships, right? Hopefully. Ideally.
It's certainly good against, arcs. Or even Han or something.
Yeah. All right, so we are back to dials as it's 2-0 in favor of Steven. Good round for him, all things considered. Jumeau gonna need to avoid hitting gas clouds this turn. I would imagine Steven just kind of plugs up that lane where Oddball is. Just makes sense, but not sure. Maybe he does, like he turns in sharply. He kind of wants to here, but also you don't want to get broadsided with a 1 straight from the arc. So. You have the equipment. No, that's a good start. You just need to understand the positioning of everything better. Yeah, I mean, we're running 3 direct line cables to our stream HQ, like all the HDMI extensions. That's why it looks like as crisp as it does. We're not using receivers right now. But yeah, we use gaffer's tape, we use zip ties. We try to make it very tidy. Definitely need gaffer's tape. That's the #1 thing you should have. It's a game changer for a lot of things.
What is that for all of the non-streaming
What is
people
gaffer's tape? Yeah.
that just let you, like, the cable management stuff?
Yeah, gaffer's tape is like the duct tape for like film related utility purposes. It's less strong than duct tape. It won't like peel paint off of things or anything. It's not like that strong of an adhesive, but it's strong enough that you can lock down cables with it. You can attach things to tripods and cameras with it. It's good for lighting setups if you need to, like, jerry rig something, or for, it's basically, a gaffer is somebody that does all the lighting setup on set for things. That's what a gaffer does. So it's like just the utility tape that they use for everything. Marking positions for things. Like if you're like, cool, we need this tripod here set up for this game, it cannot move. You use your gaffer's tape and you mark where the tripod is. You can put it back cleanly. Just very helpful. It's not super cheap, but it's great. One Arm Billy, what's up? I gotta give you all a shout out, because we had our AMG interview it was for subs only for about a week, and I come back here and we're almost at 100 subscribers. So I mean, thanks so much. As you guys, maybe some of you guys have seen, the GSP Patreon is getting a bit of a shakeup. And as we continue to do more, I think we are going to look into doing a effective and beneficial for all Patreon start of the year, just because Twitch subs, it's hard to rely on Twitch subs for the kind of expenses that we rack up these days for in-person streaming. It's more of a me problem than a you problem, but I feel like Patreon's a good opportunity for you guys to get some cool stuff and for us to just make a little bit more money for the stream. So stay tuned to that. That's something that we're working on down the road. Another thing we're going to be doing is starting our podcast here pretty soon. We're going to be recording our first episode soon. We'll be syndicating it on your podcast channels. Probably Spotify is our number one destination since most people use Spotify, but we'll look into that, make sure it's accessible for you guys. We got a road roll here for turn 3 with 44 minutes and change left in the game. Yeah, so just trying to do more where we can while also keeping my social life and my full-time job so I can support this. But thankfully I don't have to deal with I don't have kids right now, so I'm gonna I have 2 cats. They are about enough of a handful for me these days. Gaffer's tape is dad's tape. Yep.
I just got 2 cats as well.
Oh, nice.
To go.
What are their names?
Baron and Whisper.
Oh, those are great names. I think Whisper is the name of one of Zach Matthews' cats as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've already destroyed a couple of my X-Wing models, so I gotta find a better place for them.
Yeah, my as you guys can see my setup back here, Cleo does like to jump up on the shelves, but I've noticed I spray her and she jumps off, but she keeps coming back up there, and now I'm kind of observing, like, what does she do? And she tends to just kind of sit there and then get bored and jump back down. So right now I'm being a little bit more patient, but you know, thankfully everything behind me is pretty heavy. And there's gaffer's tape on the stands to keep them all sturdy so they don't fall. So there you go, boom, gaffer's tape. Very nice. Yeah, I can't blame Weiland for murdering Resistance Bomber. Yeah, I mean, he just hates seeing those things. It's my headphones. I need to buy new headphones. They're like, these guys, you can see they're like falling apart.
Yeah, I got a couple models now that maybe I'll bring in. Once a ship gets, you know, halfway damaged, I'll just swap out the model. So like an X-Wing that's missing like a wing.
That's my Luke every time I play him.
Yeah.
So what's your take, Michael, right now on Battle of Yavin Luke? I mean, we can't deny that he's great for 5 points, that he's got some good value, but what's up, Greg? 33 months?
It's hard to beat that for 5 points right now. It's really, honestly, like, to me, the most annoying part about it is just instinctive aim, like, because it's very hard to play around.
Yeah, like, it's true.
It's not, yes, it's an X-Wing, it's still got an X-Wing dial, and he's not, at least, thank God he doesn't mess with us, right? But he still gets, like, the free boost. It's very good for opening engagement, just 4 straight free boosts, take a locker, whatever. And, I don't know. It's just really efficient, and the regen. It's very, very hard for me to ever choose him as the first piece to try to take off, because he is, with the regen, he can be really tanky.
Jumeau, what are you doing, Jumeau? Running into himself here. Yeah, I agree. I think that, like, you have to, if you're gonna go after him, you have to just be willing to throw enough shots at him to just compensate for the fact that regen exists. You just got to kill him right away. I felt cheeky going against Zach Bart because the ion missile was a pretty good counter to Luke, at least when it comes to, you know, you ionize him, you get the damage in, and then you also you get to remove the lock, which I was able to do. But then he instinctive torp had only a single force as a mod, he got hit crit and nothing else, and it still killed Vader on 2 Hulk because I rolled 2 blanks and an eyeball. Direct hit died. So yeah, it's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But yeah, the utility is there, and he's blocked onto the debris. Jumeau is doing the obstacle tour today for game 1. He's visiting each obstacle and saying hello. It will take a damage as well. Did he do the self bump roll already?
He's not. Oh, the one from Wolf.
Yeah, from when he ran into Broadside. I don't recall.
It says rolled 1 dice and got nothing.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't have the chat open right now. I appreciate it. But that is the last shield, it looks like, on Oddball there. Wow, that cleared. That's nice.
Yeah. Greg said instinctive aim is a trap. I agree that relying on it is a trap, but it, most of the time you're still going to want to, like 4 dice is better than 3 dice, right? With the crit mechanic. So it's not necessarily that a Luke player wants to play into it.
Yeah,
It makes it very hard to play to, like, you can't, oh, I'm gonna hedge range, make sure he doesn't get the lock, or I have an I6 that I can capitalize on to make sure he doesn't, like, get the lock, or whatever lock stripping mechanics you have, jam, etc. It's always available.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is somebody blocks you or you get screwed by the road roll, take that red focus, instinctive aim, you got your focus. Yeah. Like, it's I don't know, it's not I mean, it's just there for you to use. It's like the ion missiles on Vader. I mean, I had my game against Marcel, he turned Anakin back in with 1 hole. It was towards the end game, he had to do it, and I'm like, all right, so Anakin's at 1 hole, he was at range 3 of Vader. I'm like, cool, great, ion missile. Now he's dead. Like, guarantees the kill. Super powerful tool that you can tap into when you really, when it's the rare situation presents itself. That is Anakin's shot. Not bad. He had the bullseye there, range 1. He's going to spend. It's going to be 2 hits and a crit.
Yep.
I'm checking for a lock as a peeve of mine. Yeah, you probably should just check normally. He's going to use Malice as well. So this is onto Volt, who was blocked, and Volt. There are the blanks. Volt takes it all.
By Volt.
He does have a shield, so maybe not.
My crit.
Oh, he's dead. Down goes Mr. Scaris.
Hey, there you go. That's a 5 health.
It should have automatically shuffled the deck. I get skeptical because how D Yoon lost his Luke on a double direct hit, and I was like screaming. I'm like, no! I just could not believe it. He gave me this iconic look. Hold on, basically he deals the damage. And then he flips he's like, the first one is a direct, and then he flips the next one over, and he goes, it just stares at me, and then he just grabs another card. I'm like, no way, double direct hit. Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, crit variance is at least as impactful.
Oh, for sure. Yes. My game against Farmer, I got panic pilots on both of the boys. It was just hilarious.
Yep. That's why I think Merrick ability is so good. Kylo Silencer ability.
That we forget about, but is good. Yeah, people are like, it's bad. No, it's good. More blanks.
Choose a crit, even if it's not purely choosing it, but like Merrick, for example, like panicked.
So this is Larir taking a fuel leak, so it won't really matter.
Yeah.
That 1 damage was from last turn that we saw. So fuel leak, of course, is after you suffer a crit, suffer damage and repair. It doesn't matter in this case. It's just an excuse to show you guys the fun animation. Boom. Yeah, that's tough. 10 crits and not a single double damage. Yep. D is a great dude. Shout out to my man D Yoon. Yeah, he's a great opponent. Couldn't have asked for a better. He's a good palate cleanser, right? Because we're both playing well, but like he's just super chill. And sometimes you get to the higher tables and it's just a lot of like, I didn't feel like I was on edge at all. I was able to relax. I knew the people that I was playing well. It helps a little bit for sure. So is that a diamond boron missile? Is he just checking for?
They have a focus.
I think he had taken a lock. It's the only way he would have been able to fire it. And if it hits, he can do another charge.
Thinking of
Barrage.
Yeah, Mirage.
That was another thing. So my Tomax, was rolled like an ace. Twice, 2 games he rolled all paint when he had to on defense to live, and it was just like, man, it felt so good for a stupid freaking bomber. However, my Zach Bart game, I had 2 bullseye barrage rockets and rolled double blanks twice, and then had to blow extra charges to re-roll dice. It just feels kind of bad when you have to do that. But again, I was pretty happy with I'm like, my variance has been good to me today. It's fine. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. Not a huge deal. So there's a damage round.
Actually run out of charges.
Yeah, that game I did because I had to re-roll. I only got to fire, I think. Yeah, I only got to fire 2 barrage rockets, and I couldn't sat salvo because I had to blow the 3 charges on rerolls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's something, I don't know, I was talking with somebody the other day, and just like, how often, like, would you ever conserve a barrage rocket charge? And I think the answer is probably you almost never.
No, you always just use as many as you can, because you probably have 2 barrage rocket shots in before you die, or it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you might as well, sat salvo reroll.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be able to sat salvo once. If you twice, 2 or 3 times, you've rolled well and you have gotten value out of your 3-point bomber. If you're not able to sat salvo at all, that means that something really bad happened, or you got very unlucky. How many reloads? I did not do a single reload. I had to be focusing after he got his barrages off to live, and it worked. And it's a red reload, which it just kind of not ideal sometimes. These are more shots into Oddball, who has already taken a damage card. He's got 5 left. He's just looking for his lock. Yellow's lock. Should have had one with yellow. Can you not find it? Yeah, I don't know how he has 5 points. That's a good point. He shouldn't have any scenario points, but he has 4 for Volt. So the actual score is 2-4 right now. For now, another damage into Oddball here. All right, we got range. I think this is also range 1. It is definitely easily range 1. And oof, not great. This is Aiden's shot, but has a lock. Gets 2. 1 more guaranteed to go through. And that's 2. Sad that Gideon won't be able to do his trick. Did he already shoot? He must have already shot. Is that what you're saying? So this is range 0, and that's going to be evaded. Ooh, spicy. Oh, Gideon's range 0. Got it. That's right. I'm looking at Aiden as blue. Yeah, no extra dice for you at range 0, no matter what. That's true. Look at all the mansplainers that chat. Like, can't use the ability. I know this. The only guy that played well at Gen Con that doesn't know how to play the game. That's me. Hit crit. And hit crit going through.
Yeah, Nick, don't you know that he can't use his ability at range 0?
Can you explain what range 0 shooting is to me and why you love it so much and how it feels so great? What do you take damage at range 0? It's always a scary shot, man. It is a brutal. So that's gonna get Steven up to 6 now. He takes the lead again. Point swing here. Yeah, Oddball doing his best Revenge of the Sith impression where he explodes immediately. I think Buddha, what it is people are like, I don't mind range 0 shots, and the people that say that are the people that haven't gone through what we've gone through. Because it totally sucks.
I don't mind that they exist, but I think some of the spike damage from
Yes.
from just totally unwanted shots. I wouldn't mind if it was like limited to 1 damage. You know, like
Or no,
take
you
this
couldn't
off-
take crits. You couldn't drop a crate if you get shot at range 0 or some. I don't know.
Yeah, like something like that,
Something.
where it's just like if a range 0 attack hits, take 1 damage, then cancel all dice results or whatever.
It always ends up being natties. I mean, the likelihood of you rolling 2 to 3 hits at range 0 is pretty high. The chances are high. Like the probability, it supports. You know, you could get the full string. It's a 50% chance in every die that you get that hit, or maybe even get a crit. Don Morty's. This is a broadside shot. Yeah, broadside. I think Jumeau is maybe learning Republic, or at least broadside a little bit, because a dorsal turret on broadside is kind of a no-no. It's always got to be the ion cannon turret.
Yeah.
I still don't like to focus on. I can deal with that because if one person goes first and they have nowhere to go, then it's just like a defensive thing that you could. And some people end up just cashing in on, you know, when they're attacking with it. But yeah, the range 0 shooting. I like the tacticalness of like blocking in 2.0. Sorry to offend by mentioning the old days. You know, but you know they address that with the red focusing when you bump, and I'm like, that's fine. Range 0 though.
I don't. You could not do nothing except have road, if that makes sense. If you didn't have range 0 shots or red like focus, and you kept it to where you just skip your perform action stage, then road would be like
Brutal.
just so variable, right?
It
Like,
would
you
be
have no-
horrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you would need something.
yeah, they created road and said, okay, well, this is going to cause a problem, so let's address that problem by adding the bump red focus rule or calculate.
I do think, and not that there's any like time to be spent now thinking about it, right? Because it doesn't matter. We're gonna, you know, it's so clearly set. But like for just a little bit, there was all that discussion about like random order before dials. I never got to like try it out. And I think it would be interesting, especially with how much we've seen random order after dials. So at least
Yeah,
like,
before is just a lot of information. I think it ends up being the same, almost the same. It actually kind of is the same as if you had known from the get-go, like just it was one person the whole game as well, because you just have all that information before you make decisions. The gambling aspect of the after dials is kind of unique. Like that's something that we talked about in our interview, is just like, you know, like you've set your dials, like is this like, are you sure you dialed in a 4K that's right now going to get blocked? Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely like having to think through one more iteration of like decision trees. You have to come up with either know that you're gambling on road, or you're trying to do something that works in both road results.
Greg saying something I totally disagree with. He's like, you shouldn't reinforce bad piloting. I don't think that is really a fair way to assess bumping and taking a red focus, that you're just like, you just are a bad pilot. I'm definitely insulted by that, if that's the way that he looks at it. There's a lot of factors. Every case is so different. Like sometimes you have nowhere to go too. Like,
yeah.
you know, it's nice. So the video, our interview, it's performing well on YouTube, and nobody has disliked the video, and only nobody has made like a bad comment. Like, I mean, now Greg will do it, but no one said anything like mean or insulting. I was expecting it a little bit, just somebody to be angry or just like grumpy. But not yet, at least. Not yet.
Nick is an industry plant.
Yeah. Greg does not make mistakes. Interesting. Jeez, you guys.
Something.
I promise you guys the second game will go by faster. 8-4 Steven leads right now.
Where are these plays going? Because they're just pointed off to kind of nowhere. Are they all 4K or what's the?
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
would 3K or 4K. Yeah, sloop, Laurier if you can. They have a 3 sloop. Yeah, you can fit a 3 sloop. And then 3K the rest of them. I think 4K is a little too far, but actually maybe a 4K is better because then the 2 straight does get you a little too far with a 3K. Dude, yeah,
and if
4Ks.
You need to try to track down the rear, which I don't know.
Yeah, maybe Anakin can
Almost
do it. I
like
don't know, man.
We're turning left to try to track down the.
It's probably not going to be the dorsal turret from Oddball.
Is.
Or not Oddball, Broadside.
Yeah. The Laurier can't really go right because he has to move before all those ties. So you know he's either going straight or left.
Yep.
I think you need to have Anakin. I mean, the ties are at best like the worst thing that they can do is 3K and get shot. So I think you just.
Chat's
Yeah,
mentioning one hards, but it just he'll have to split formation if he does that. It's not a bad idea. You can one hard almost everybody, almost.
Yeah.
All but Gideon.
But I'd try to send Anakin to kill Laurier, and then Slider can go pick up that objective, right? It's got what, a 2 hard on the dial?
Yeah, I think can't Slider just side slip and get the objective? Doesn't side slip
yeah. How
yet,
does
right?
that work? Is that 5 right now, or do you have to like? Is it charge based or what?
It's 2 charges. They should be up. They are up right now. Looks like. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah, they are up.
Yeah, so you just do that side.
Yeah,
slip.
a 2-speed side slip. We'll see. I'm not sure if Jumeau is going to do that, but he does need to close the gap. He's running out of time.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you can get both those objectives and kill the rear, you're pretty much on your way.
Iden has not been spent yet because the ties have basically been shooting unanswered shots. I mean, they took like a couple of shots, but they weren't very good.
Yeah, I agree, Greg. I wouldn't want to joust either. I think if you can try to win if you can kill the rear and then try to win on objectives without losing another ship, which all the remaining Republic ones are healthy. In fact, the rear is the only one on the board that's not full health. I guess Wolf has a couple shields down, but who cares? So if you're Republic, if you can get Laurier and then try to win on objectives, you don't really need to engage too hard. Those ties are going to take a second to come around.
Yeah. So Laurier is opting not to turn around, instead just being more defensive with the focus. So 3 bank and focusing instead of slooping.
Yeah, I agree. Agree with that one.
Jumeau is first player. This is turn 4. I'll just mark first player on the overlay. There it is. Take a look at the betting.
Oh, he did it!
They're beautiful. Nicely done by Jumeau. Jumeau. So he will get on the board here with scenario points.
The TTS name for a side slip is Sliped. It says in the chat, Sliders 2 Sliped. Or Slider Sliped Bank Right 2. So that's like...
Sliped, how's it spelled?
Yeah, SLIPE.
Okay.
Sliped.
That's the shorthand for side slip.
Yeah. I always forget. For side slips, you don't get to choose forward, back, middle, right?
Correct. Yeah, it is just like a maneuver. So, although I know town rules let you adjust, but yeah, it's a standard middle hash line to middle of the template. Double P's are for cowards for sure. Oh, another self bump from Jumeau. Jumeau is just flexing on us. Like, I don't care. I'll run it. I'm still with this game. I'm gonna hit things.
He's got so much health. Like,
yeah. Did he took the damage? Yeah, it looks like he did. So that's now 5 hull for kickback. Now just a regular torrent at 3 points with token sharing ability.
Greg asks, speaking of town rules, do any of your stores have any house rules that are just always followed when you play, not like special events? I believe he's trying to find a precedent for his very controversial.
Oh yeah. We don't do a decline the penalty thing. You know, we just, if you roll too many, you got to re-roll the right amount versus rolling one more in. I think that's based on some confirmation bias. Like I've had this happen to me before, and it's super annoying because they roll blanks and then natty out. I've only had that happen to me once, and that was with Duncan Howard, who's supposed to roll natties all the times anyways. So
yeah. Always a good time arguing about that.
I also don't think anyone's ever done that on purpose. Like it's one thing. I mean, like it's just like it's a mistake. It sucks if, you know, anecdotally somebody is. And it looks like we got Iden's charged popped. No, it's Delmico's elusive reroll. Sorry, I'm not paying attention. So a couple of damage being dished out here. And Iden doesn't use Iden, right? Doesn't look like. Yeah, because he's taking the damage. So.
Yeah. And I guess it
doesn't matter, right? You're not dead, so might as well take the damage.
Only do it when the ship would die.
Yeah, that's the strat.
Which is definitely a valid strategy.
So Duncan didn't even make it to day 2, which I was surprised by. I mean, he was playing Poe and 3 X-Wings and I guess ran into some bad matchups. He is just an elite player. Howdy. Is that copper blue? Do we have a copper blue sighting? 11 months, dude. That's awesome. Thanks, man. What's up, John? We are back with X-Wing. I'm joined by Michael Shively. We've been saying his name wrong this whole time. Captain of 5 straight boost. I have some during the planning phase. I have some questions for you about being a captain. So
we'll answer as much as I can. I'm kind of multitasking right now and building my draft because I have to. It's very, very serious for me because I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make the players draft.
Okay, so you're submitting it to Greg in advance.
So I have to give like a ranking of all 94 players, and I can't just do it on the fly.
5 straight boost is a great name. It is. It's not. It's close to the value of Tinder Gods. I think we can all agree the Tinder Gods are an outrageous brand and an outrageous name, but it's time for other brands to take over.
Yeah, Greg asks, what's the status of the ruler? So, just background, I am getting 5 straight boost templates done. So there will be 2 templates. One of them is essentially a 7 straight, and the other one is a 6 straight with 1 banks in either direction attached on the end.
Oh wow!
So it will measure perfectly a 5 straight boost on a small base ship. So rather than doing it like doing a 5 straight, placing your ship and then boosting, this template would let you just do it in one go.
We need to add that. I need to add a slot to that for my template tray.
Yeah,
that's good. I need to add that.
That's like a novelty deal. But so I have them ordered. I bought 2 sheets, and I think I was just talking to him the other day. They have not shipped yet, but they are. I have approved the. He sent me like, I guess it's called a proof, but like exactly what he was printing and like the dimensions and whatever, and so they should be shortly, and so hopefully I can get those out pretty quickly.
Hell yeah!
After I get the team on Tuesday.
That's awesome. This is a chance to kill Laurier here. I'm just gonna chime in on the color commentary side as we talk about the 5 straight boost template. That's pretty dope, man. I definitely am gonna I'm gonna need to find a way to get to acquire this, especially the. First thing that came to mind was attack speed until I remembered there's no 5. There's no 5 straight on a T65.
Yeah.
It's more for the silencer and interceptor fans out there for sure. Tri fighters, all that good stuff.
Yeah, the idea really stemmed because I was running Bonreg, Quick Draw, Blackout, and Wilo for like a while. Just right after like the points change. And every single like turn one was the same. It was always the correct choice. I felt at least was to like decloak Blackout because he had Center Scramblers and then 5 straight boost and 5 straight boost Wilo. And most of that was because since it was 5s and 6s, a lot of the times I was setting up after my opponent, and it was just like, oh, I can get all these flanks, and Wilo, if he can get a conch missile off on turn 1 and then turn away, it's always kind of tracked that way. So then I was like, oh, this is like a cool like turn 1, just 5 straight boost. And yeah, so a couple of comments about that's definitely not like a legal template and gives you additional information you wouldn't have, or like if you like say for example you get on a rock, you have to like go and remeasure it, or the boost, like the double bank boost template with it on both sides shows you where the other boost would have been. So definitely not something you can use in a competitive situation, but they'll be fun to have, and in any casual play, I think people would be just fine with it.
I love how people all of a sudden are like the first thing they go to is like, oh, that sounds kind of sus, man. That's pretty sus.
Yeah, it's never gonna be.
It's like chill. Although there is no chill in the draft league, y'all need to chill. So Matthew Carey reporting using his back channels, which is a sexual innuendo for those of you that didn't pick that up. Does that Knuckles has printed those out today.
Oh, okay. I need to check maybe he sent me something. Maybe not.
Yeah, shout out to Knuckles. Of course, he is Mr. Acrylic, the founder and owner of Curled Paw Creatives, who made the real life red flag stress tokens for us, which I still use to this day. Used at Gen Con. So we are heading into round 5. At a snail's bit, a snail is about to charge. Finding Nemo reference. It's an old one.
They start in almost in that formation. They just kind of like straight and K-turned down a little train track.
Yeah, he's in a good spot to. I think he can bank all but green.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo, but not Aladdin. I haven't seen you made that Aladdin reference. It's been a long time, dude. I have not seen Aladdin since I was a very small child. I still act like a small child, but I haven't seen it as a small child. Dude, get off my back, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, this is a curious turn. Republic really needs to kill the rear. And I almost wonder if he's trying to like turn my oddball, but you don't want to get that block of ties is certainly threatening.
But I've seen Aladdin. I just haven't seen it in a long time, guys. Sorry, Michael. I've been distracted by people trying to get me to watch Aladdin again.
I haven't seen it in a very long time either.
Yeah. Well, apparently that's against the law. You should be under arrest. You know what? I'm gonna only watch the live action Aladdin. I've seen Oppenheimer 3 times. I'm gonna make sure I watch the live action Aladdin 4 times.
Seen it 3 times.
Dude, I love that movie, man. It's so good. The music is just phenomenal too.
So the other 2 people that I went to LSO with, like none of us made cut. So on Sunday morning, instead of going and like playing in whatever the like side event was, we just went and saw Oppenheimer. And it was, I really, really liked it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the more important movies that has come out in a while, and definitely going to be the best movie that comes out this year in terms of overall quality. I don't think anything will match it in terms of, I mean, I know people say Barbie, but it's not Barbie.
It's the same kind of movie.
No, very different. I think the Barbenheimer crowd is going to be a little shocked when they realize just how different Oppenheimer is. Mostly 3 hours of dialogue, but some of the best you could ask for.
Yeah, it's so well acted.
Yeah.
Like everything. Yeah.
And for those of you that don't know, Ludwig Göransson is the composer of The Mandalorian. So, if anything, going there to support him, and how his work has just exploded. He's just so talented. So here come the banks as Del Mico leads the charge. Yeah, it's true though. I haven't seen it 4 times, and I have a friend that's seen it 6, and I feel like he's leaving me in the I'm being left in the dust. He did the music for Community and New Girl. Yeah, he also did Black Panther. He's got a good resume. He's no Hans, but he's kind of getting there, to be honest. That has to be, you have to be trolling me saying something like that. There's just no way that that's something that you heard with your audio receptors. People saying they'll wait for it to come out on streaming, like that should be against the law. That movie is meant for a movie theater. Go see it. It's gonna be out for a while. Interesting formation here is he's going straight with everybody else. You know, Iden's still out there, so Steven's in a good spot here. Even if you line up a kill shot, it doesn't matter. Anakin, ooh, does he have bullseye there right now? I don't think so. Oh, he boosts out of the bullseye potential. Didn't think he had it anyways. Gonna try to get range. It's probably gonna be range 2. Yeah, you got to watch it on your toaster oven for sure. You uncultured swine.
My dad saw Avatar for the first time on like the first one in 2008 on a plane.
Oh gosh, nice. Honestly though, James Cameron sucks, so I liked Spite there.
Oh yeah. He immediately got back from that trip and then took us to see it in IMAX or whatever, like, because it was at that point it was still on the like I don't remember what you call it, but like the theaters that show movies after like the release cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So we went and saw it because he's like, yeah, I need to see this on a bigger screen.
Yeah, I haven't seen the newer Avatar. I really didn't care too much for the first one. I enjoyed it, and I thought it was beautiful, but the story doesn't do much for me. This is Laurier eating it now. So Jumeau does pull into a tie right now with just 6 minutes and change left. This could be Jumeau's game here. This might be his game to lose. We'll see. Jumeau.
Is Anakin, right?
Yeah, we're taking, well, this is, Anakin's there to be feasted on by the ties. However, this is kickback shot first at range 1 for 2 hits. And it looks like it's going into Del. And now you're going to have to force the Iden charge. Re-rolls with Del's ability for another blank. Oh no, that was an eyeball. Okay, it was cocked, couldn't tell. So he's going to spend his focus, he's fine. Now you have range 1. Direct line is unobstructed. You can go here into Gideon Hask, who has not taken any damage yet. 4 dice. Just hit crit. Could be not going to be enough. Spend, you're fine. I mean, how do you feel about your chances of killing Anakin here with those TIE fighters? Like, not the best, right? Like, I mean, crazy things have happened, but
All it takes is like hitting a crit to go through, right?
Yeah.
But
That was a shield. I forgot he had shield upgrades on them.
It probably doesn't take any damage, but there's certainly the potential to die.
Yeah, Anakin should be full force. That's a pretty bad roll.
Yeah.
Now we're going into wolf range 1. Should be 3 dice for Dell. He's gonna do an ion cannon? Is he really? I guess so. Because you could ionize him onto the debris, maybe. Believe that should be enough to ionize. It will be. Oh, he doesn't have a focus. So hit crit, has to roll. Yeah, it won't be enough. Should be 1 more damage. So it looks like Wolf down to 5. Yeah, he fired a 4 dice because it was an ion cannon. It was an interesting choice. These are the shots into Anakin. Josh, Twitch Prime, let's go. XOXO. Hugs and kisses for you too, my friend. In a very much gay way. I'm confused. Are we what are we checking for? Are we waiting for okay, next shot. We're moving on to the next shot. You could shoot a broadside who has taken, let's get a damage report on broadside who's taken a shield. And has a focus still. Nick is the most handsome caster. Oh boy. That's your words, not mine. Pretty hurtful. I think Greg's got the facial hair game down for sure. They don't call him Luscious Greg for nothing, you know. And they could be referring to one person or many. So that is just another shield. He's gonna spend. It's another shield on broadside. Did I see him take a damage? No, oh, that's a damage on Anakin. I apologize. Anakin took a damage there. Okay. Oh boy. Now you get the extra die with Gideon. 3-on-3.
What he was born for.
He was born for. He's got Predator here too. He's got some mods. Yeah. Oh!
We're talking.
2. Really needed 3 though, man. You really needed 3.
Maybe not. We'll see. Anakin's got what? Just force? Yeah.
Just force.
Quote just end quote force.
Yeah, right. How much force though? 2?
One.
Oh, he's only got 1
So,
force.
yeah, honestly, even if you knock off, like, even just making him spend force is good for next turn.
Oh, Anakin dies. He blanks out. And down goes Annie. Incredible. Incredible. Steven says, no, Mr. Hit a gas cloud, hit a rock, hit your friends. This is my game. Gets up to 13. I cursed him. Well, let's be honest. You did need 3. You did. Oh, he's moving the wrong thing. You did need 3 hits, like, to really feel good about it. But he got it. It was easy, no doubts.
All right. So now the question is, are they going to get through? No, you just decline to shoot broadside. Decline to shoot.
I said Anakin is probably fine here because I thought the first shot was not into him. Once I saw he took a damage, I was like, oh.
Okay. So you don't shoot broadside here, right? You just go to the next turn.
Oh gosh.
You're looking at 5 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're done.
Yeah, because who's after broadside? Nobody, right?
Yeah, I think Slider would have gone. Maybe you already checked. The
Yeah.
Slider's a 4 though. Never mind.
Yeah, you just at that point you just try to get to the next turn, but
Now they have to tally up points. They have 15 seconds left. 14 to 11.
Miles. Yeah, we'll see what they're.
Oh, Jumeau losing Anakin. They didn't set a dial, so that will be it.